What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in this video, I'm gonna help you decide whether you should invest in real estate or the stock market. I'm gonna share with you why I love real estate and I believe it is the best place for me to invest. However, I'm also gonna talk about why that might not be the case for you and why I'm slowly starting to shift to believe that maybe I should start to put more money in the stock market. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Chandler Smith, and I've been investing in real estate for the last 8 years. I currently own 114 units of rental real estate and a 73 unit storage complex. And just in the last month, I had the opportunity to go on the iced coffee hour with Graham, Stefan, and Jack. Now, the only reason I share this with you is while I was in California, I also got to meet up with Meet Kevin. And between Meet Kevin and Graham, Stefan, I've been pushed extremely hard to start investing in the stock market.
Stocks have been so easy and it's just made me feel good. Even though you might get a lower return, like you're not going to be getting these returns, but even if you get 6%, just guaranteed for throwing the money in the stock market and just never worrying about it and just having something to fall back on.
Every fiber of my being wanted to push against it because I truly believe that investing in real estate is the best place for your money. However, it did cause me to go back to the drawing board and write out a long list of all of the pros and cons of investing in real estate in comparison to investing in the stock market. So you are receiving this video from an avid real estate investor. However, I am seriously looking into starting to invest in the stock market. And so I'm gonna take you through my thought process and share with you all of the pros and cons of both so that you can make the proper decision when deciding to invest your money. The only thing that I ask you to do is make sure that you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. Because the goal of this channel is to help you to build a huge passive income. And the only way that you're gonna see the future videos is if you hit the bell, subscribe to the channel, and of course, smash that like button so the algorithm continues to push to you everything you need to build a huge passive income. Now, in the past, I've made a video similar to this, and I've started with real estate and ended with real estate because I truly believe it is the best place for your money. However, I've been looking into the pros and cons of the stock market a lot more, and I decided that I wanted to cover that first in this video because there are actually a ton of pros to investing in the stock market. The biggest pro of investing in the stock market is that it requires an extremely low barrier to entry. This means that regardless of how much money you have in the bank, you can invest in the stock market right now. The other thing that's really cool about investing in the stock market is that there are tons of different options and you can choose the option for your risk tolerance. What this means is there are certain places you can put your money that literally have almost no risk. Now, with no risk comes a very low return. There are also other areas where you could invest within the stock market where you have the potential to receive a huge return, but you could also receive a huge not return or loss of your money. And so that's what makes the stock market interesting is if someone says, hey, I made a ton of money in the stock market, I don't like to just jump on board with that because it could be that they got completely lucky. It could be that they've made a ton of money, but they're just about to lose it. It could be that they lost a ton of money, but put more money in and they had that money increase in value and they might not even be back to even, but they made a ton of money in the stock market. And so this is one of the reasons I've always hesitated to invest is yes, there are low risk areas you can put your money where you can get 3 to 5 or maybe even 8% consistently. But in my mind, that's an extremely low return compared to real estate. And there still is risk there. When you go into the higher risk areas though, if you don't know what you're doing, you can get burned in a bad way. I'm starting to talk very negatively about the stock market, but this is supposed to be pro. I'm gonna rewind it here. You've got low risk, you've got high risk, and the return varies. And this can be a positive because then you can invest according to your risk tolerance. What's also very nice about investing in the stock market is there's a very consistent track record. For years and years and years, the S&P 500 has increased in value. Same with lots of other stocks. And so it's one of those things where if you do put your money in one of these more conservative investments that's consistently gone up in value, it's a huge advantage because you know consistently it's gone up in value and it's going to continue to do that. And so it's very easy to enter. It's very easy to put your money somewhere where you know long term it's going to be very safe and increase in value. The other thing that's super cool about investing in the stock market is taxes. Now, if you invest and pull your money out with a profit in under a year, then you just pay ordinary tax like you would on any other income. However, if you leave that money in there for over a year, you pay what's called long-term capital gains tax. This means that depending on your tax bracket, you're paying either 0, 15%, or 20%. Now, if you don't know, this is substantially lower than what you would pay just in ordinary taxes on ordinary income. So this is a huge benefit. The other thing that's really nice is you can leave your money in there and not pay taxes on it until you actually claim the gain by taking it out. So as long as it's in there, you're not paying any tax. And once you do take it out, if it's been longer than a year, you're going to pay a lot less tax than you would otherwise. Another big pro to the stock market is you can diversify in a big way. And this just means you can put money in a lot of different places to where you can have some money that's very high risk, you can have some that's very low risk, and you can have a bunch of different options to kind of hedge your bet. Now, the only thing with diversification that kind of stresses me out is it makes sense if you're hoping to hit big in some areas, but it kind of doesn't, because if you're trying to hit big, you know there's high risk, and whether you like it or not, you're going to lose that money or you're going to hit big. Mentally, I can see how that helps and it gives you lots of options, but if you're just making a small return over here, but you're consistently losing big over here, that just doesn't make sense to me. Now, again, you might hit big, so I guess that's why people enjoy it, but you've got tons of different options. Now, the reason I haven't liked diversifying in the past is just because I like to get really good at one thing and I like to make sure that I hit at all of my at-bats. And I guess what that means is just that I know I'm going to get a good return if I invest my money. And this has been another thing that's kind of kept me out of the stock market. All right, guys, that was really hard for me to find all of the positives of the stock market. And I'm sure a lot of you are saying, Chandler, those were some good positives, but we can tell you are very much still leaning towards real estate. You're right, I am. And I'm going to talk in this video why I believe real estate is the best investment. However, there is one point that does make the stock market appetizing. And that one point is deal flow. Now, what deal flow is your ability to find a deal in real estate. When it comes to the stock market, you can go out and you can buy whatever you want, and you can do it whenever you want, and you can do it with very little money if you want. Where when you're investing in real estate, yes, you have a barrier to entry. That hasn't been a huge issue for me because I've been able to save my money and I've been able to increase my income. However, the one thing that has been an issue for me is deal flow. As I've continued to make more and more money, deal flow has become harder and harder. My market has become more competitive. And because of this, when I look at the stock market and I say, hey, I could consistently make 8 to 12% if I put my money in the right place, and I can still avoid taxes and get that upside, or I can let my money sit in the bank while I'm trying to find a good deal and I'm really struggling to find a deal and I'm not making any return on that money. That is the one thing that really is pushing me in another direction. The other thing that's kind of pushed me is, like I said earlier, diversification is not my favorite thing. However, if something were to happen to the area that I invest in or to real estate in general, it would be nice to know that I have a nice nest egg in the stock market. So those are the two things that really have made me consider the stock market more. The biggest one being that I'm sitting on money, but I'm really struggling to find good deal flow. That is why I'm doing this video, and on this channel you might be surprised because I might start to put more money into the stock market. However, before we go and get crazy, we've got to make sure we talk about the cons of the stock market and all of the massive pros of investing in real estate. Because again, I think if you can do it and if you can create the deal flow, you should always put your money into real estate. Now to jump into the cons of investing in the stock market. The biggest one is it's a substantially smaller return. And I know people argue and say, oh, I invested in this stock and I got a 100% return. Okay, I'd love to see how much of a millionaire you really are if you can consistently get a 100% return, because that just doesn't happen, all right? Not even for Warren Buffett is he on a daily basis getting a 100% return. And so that is more gambling for me. And the reality is, when it comes to consistent return in comparison to the risk you're taking on, real estate is always going to destroy the stock market. The other thing that I can't stand about the stock market is the fact that people that are way smarter than me, that know way more than me about the stock market, still end up taking huge losses. And you can see this all around you. People still lose a ton of money investing in the stock market. And the big reason for that is there's so many ups and downs. Now, long term, I know the stock market makes you money if you put your money in and you let it sit. And for those people that are smarter than me, I know they've made very educated decisions and put money in very smart places, and they've killed it. You look at Meet Kevin, he put a ton of money into Tesla and he killed it. And that's awesome. And I'm super pumped for him. And again, he is much smarter than me to be able to see certain things after doing tons of research and feel comfortable enough to invest. But one of the big negatives, I would say, with investing in the stock market is so many people invest after not being truly educated. And that's why for me, I am very hesitant to invest, because I know there's a lot of time for me to put into understanding it before I would feel comfortable putting my money in. And a lot of people just throw their money in because they're investing in the stock market when they have no idea what they're doing. So in my mind, I think a lot of times, instead of investing, it's gambling, because people don't get the education they need and they put money in, and sometimes they win big, sometimes it goes great, but it's just like going down and playing roulette. If you play roulette and you win big, then yeah, of course you're gonna put more money in. And how does that usually turn out for people? So it all comes down to education. I do not think the stock market is bad. And I once did, but I don't. I believe you can make educated decisions and you can win big and you can win consistently. However, I think one big drawback is that a lot of people aren't making educated decisions, they're gambling. Finally, I think one of the big negatives to investing in the stock market is just your emotional health. You've got to get to the point where you understand that it's going to be like this the whole ride. And it might be consistently up, but if you're not ready to take those gut punches every time something weird in the market happens and you watch your money deplete, then it probably isn't going to be a good place for you to put your money. And this is one of the big reasons I don't like the stock market, because if I had $100,000 in and I see that I lost $10,000 in a day, I would want to throw up. Once again, this is another negative to the stock market. Now, I think I've beat up on the stock market enough. However, what's really going to beat up on investing in the stock market is when I talk about all of the pros of real estate. And we've already used up a lot of this video, so I'm going to fly through them. I just need your help by pushing the like button, and I'm gonna crank things up for the second half of this video. I'm gonna nail this in one take because I absolutely love this stuff. So number one is cash flow. Now you can get anywhere from 10 to 20% in cash flow. And this is money. This is cash going into your bank every single month. That's actually another negative to the stock market unless you're getting dividends. But again, it's actual cash, and 10 to 20%, that's incredible. That blows the stock market out of the water alone in and of itself. And so cash flow is huge. The next one is appreciation. Now this is that properties naturally go up in value every single year. And this on average is 3 to 5%. Unless you invest in an incredible market. In my market right now, my properties have gone up in value anywhere from 5 to 15% every single year I've owned them, because I bought them in a market that was consistently going up in value. The next one is the fact that you get to use leverage. This means you can purchase a $100,000 property with a small down payment, as small as only 3.5%. That means $3,500 can buy you $100,000 worth of real estate, which is going to drastically increase your cash flow. And when I say cash flow, I mean cash flow percentage in comparison to what you have invested. It's going to drastically increase your appreciation, because if a property appreciates by 10%, but you only have 3.5% in on the ownership of that property, that's like a lot more than 5 to 10%, because you only own 3.5% of it, but you really own 100% of it. And that 100% is what's going up in value by 3 to 5% or even 10%. I said percent a lot. On top of that, by using leverage, you get something called principal paydown, which means every month that you pay your mortgage, you're having the mortgage go out, and a portion of that is going to interest, but a portion is going to paying off the property. Now, if you add all of these up, you're now looking at something like 40 to 50 to maybe even 60% plus in returns on your money. And to top it off, you get huge tax benefits. You're not going to be paying capital or long-term capital gains tax like you would in the stock market. However, you can use the depreciation against your income, and you can do things like cost segregation or 1031 exchanges that make it so that you can consistently kick paying taxes down the road forever. So all of the income that you're getting from your cash flow, your appreciation, your principal pay down, you don't have to pay tax on that ever if you want to, by using the strategies of the 1031 exchange, cost segregation, using your depreciation. Whew, that was a long take. I hope you understand there are so many different ways that real estate gives you a huge advantage, a huge return. On top of that, you get to own real property. It's your property, it's there. You can build an empire, and you can do it while receiving a much greater return. The last pro I want to add is the fact that the market is slow to move. And what this means is you're not going to see this drastic dip in your property values. It's going to happen slowly over time if it does happen, and that's going to give you time to respond. Now, the negatives of investing in real estate are the fact that you've got to do maintenance. You've got to make sure you have systems in the right place. And the biggest negatives are, one, that you need a lot more money to start investing, unless, of course, you use leverage right, and then you really don't need that much. So I don't see that as that big of a barrier to entry. But the other one that's really difficult is deal flow. Again, you need to become a professional. It needs to become a business, and you're gonna be competing against other people that have been doing this for a long time. And I can't tell you how often I win on good deals against new investors because I know what I'm doing, and I struggle to have good deal flow. And so that is the biggest hold up for me when it comes to investing in real estate, is if you get up against a wall and you're struggling to find deals. Now, with all of that being said, I truly believe if you put the right systems in place, you can always find deals. However, the reason I'm struggling right now is I have had a bigger influx of money. I've had a bigger influx of less time. And because of that, it's been difficult to find bigger deals. So we have cranked through this video. We've talked about the pros and cons of both. And as you can see, I truly believe that investing in real estate is the best place for my money. However, in the meantime, when I have money that I'm sitting on, it probably wouldn't hurt for me to kind of dip my toe into the stock market and be getting a return on that money, even if it's a conservative investment and it's a conservative return, so that I'm at least getting some form of return on my money until I find a great real estate deal. Now, I want to hear your feedback. Let me know in the comments if I'm missing something about the stock market. I know Kevin and Graham have already pushed me that way a little bit, and I do think I'll start to mess around with it a little bit more. But let me know what you think about this video. I love real estate. I love the pros of investing in real estate, and I truly believe it's an incredible platform for you to receive a huge return. However, if there's something I'm missing, let me know in the comments. Now, with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching the video. Remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos, where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.